Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Perkenalkan, kami dari grup 7 dan pada kesempatan kali ini, insya Allah kelompok kami akan membawakan materi terkait pragmatic dimension. Namun, izinkan saya untuk memperkenalkan anggota kelompok kami. Yang pertama ada Hedi Rashid Dalaksono, kemudian ada Hikmah Naluri, dan juga ada saya Melida Duyanti. Baik, kita mempersingkat waktu, langsung saja kita mulai ke slide pertama. Yaitu coherence in translation. Coherence is referred as the property of unity and of hanging together. The study of coherence is always closely related to cohesion. According to Holiday and Hassan, cohesion is the foundation on which the evidence of coherence is built, and the basis for textual coherence lies in cohesion. Jadi koherensi itu disebut sebagai sifat atau kesatuan dan juga bergantung bersama menurut Hasan. Kajian tentang koherensi selalu berkaitan erat dengan kohensi. Menurut Holiday dan Hasan, kohensi adalah landasan di mana bangunan koherensi dibangun dan dasar untuk koherensi tekstual terletak pada kohensi. Next. Okay. First, while cohesion concerns the surface relations that organize and create text, coherence is the network and conceptual relations which underline the surface text as perceived by the language users. Jika koherensi berkaitan dengan hubungan permukaan yang mengatur dan menciptakan teks, koherensi adalah jaringan hubungan konseptual yang menggarisbawahi teks permukaan seperti yang dirasakan oleh pengguna bahasa. And the second is the mere presence of coercive markers such as linkers or lexical chains is not sufficient to create a coherent text. Jadi kehadiran penanda kohesif saja seperti penghubung atau rantai leksikal itu tidaklah cukup untuk menciptakan teks yang koheren. Next. Okay. Imagine we say I'm terribly tired because, and B, bananas are yellow. Or C, I am very tired at the end of the week. And D, on Wednesday, I usually see my sister. Although a conjunction such as because suggests a cause or effect relationship between the two clauses or parts of the sentence, in fact, it would be very difficult to find a logical reason why B should cause A. Jadi meskipun konjungsi seperti because ini mengisyaratkan ada hubungannya sebab akibat antara kedua klausa atau bagian kalimat tersebut, tapi nyatanya akan sangat sulit menemukan alasan yang logis mengapa si B ini harus menyebabkan si A. Kemudian untuk yang C dan D itu, and although week and Wednesday belong to the same lexical chain, it is hard to find a connection between C and D. Dan meskipun hari ini termasuk dalam rantai leksikal yang sama, itu juga sulit menemukan hubungannya antara bagian C dan D. Next.
Oke, untuk selanjutnya saya akan menjelaskan mengenai coherence. Coherence is mostly receiver-centered. It depends on the ability of the hearer or reader to interpret a stretch of language on the basis of his or her expectation and experience of the world, which in their turn are influenced by the society he or she lives in. For example, in order to attribute sense to a stretch like, he looked like Frodo coming down the mountain. The hobbit was walking slowly and singing to himself. And the other side, one has to know that Frodo and the Hobbit are the same person, which means that she or he must have read the novel Lord of the Rings, seen the movie drawn from it, or at least heard about one of the two. If a translation of the sentence were addressed to a public who is not likely to have done any of the above mentioned things, the translator will probably have to intervene and modify it. For instance, in the following way, he looked like Frodo the Hobbit coming down the mountain. He was walking slowly and singing to himself. This coherence is not really a property of the text, but of the event or situation and of the people and things involved in it. Okay, we go to the next page, narrative text. Narrative is one of the texts took in junior and also senior high school level. Narrative texts are usually told by a storyteller. Another definition is Klaus defined the narrative text is a kind of story, either fictive or real, which contains a series of events in which how the story is told and how the context is presented as aspect of the story constructions based on Strauss at 2018. Next page, narrative analysis. Narrative analysis takes as its point of departure the idea that narrative is the principal mode by which we experience the world, that it is the shape of knowledge as we first apprehend it, based on Fisher 1987 at 193, rather than a genre or particular type of the text.
Okay, next there are translation. Translation is rendering the meaning of the text into another language in the way that the author intended the text. It means the translation should describe clearly the meaning of a text in the target language so that the reader can get the message or statement in another language. Next. There are two types of translation. First, the types used are based on a Semiticon. One, intralingual translation, which is related to language variation. Two, interlingual translation, which is relate reproducing of target language message with the close natural equivalent meaning of the search language text. Third, semiotic translation, which is related to the interpretation between sign system in which verbal signs are transferred into non-verbal system. And the second, the kind of translation. First, word for word translation. Second, literal translation. And third, faithful translation. Fourth, semantic translation. Five, adaptation. Six, free translation. Seven, idiomatic translation. And the last, communicative translation. And then the conclusion is, in a word, a translation in terms of semantic and cognitive level can yield a truthful text by the employment of the above mentioned. That means retention of the continuous of sense of a text, reconstruction of the target text for the purpose of continuity, coherence, complement in translation, and the extract and foregrounding of the topic sentence in translation. Such mean can serve as the basic of translation on the textual level.
Baik, Alhamdulillah. Terima kasih banyak untuk Kak Heidi dan juga Kak Hikmah yang telah memaparkan materi pada kesempatan kali ini. Dari kelompok kami itu saja dapat kami sampaikan. Namun kesimpulannya setelah beberapa materi yang telah kami sampaikan, jadi pada intinya singkatnya itu seorang penerjemah dalam hal tingkat semantik dan kognitif dapat menghasilkan teks yang benar dengan menggunakan cara-cara yang disebutkan di atas. Mempertahankan kesinambungan makna teks, rekonstruksi teks sasaran untuk tujuan kesinambungan, pelengkapan koherensi dan dalam terjemahan dan ekstrak serta latar depan kalimat topik dalam penerjemahan. Sarana seperti itu dapat menjadi dasar penerjemahan pada tingkat teks tekstual. Bagi kalian yang ingin bertanya, kami persilakan nanti untuk bertanya di kolom komentar. Selebihnya kami mohon maaf apabila masih banyak kekurangan. Terima kasih banyak atas waktunya dan juga atensinya. Kami ucapkan banyak terima kasih dan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.